Many people know about the Virgin Mary as the mother of Jesus, but what happened to her after the crucifixion? What was her life like in the years after Christ's resurrection? Where did she live, and how did she spend her final days? Today, we'll explore these questions, looking at biblical clues, historical traditions, and fascinating insights that many might not know. Before we dive in, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more biblical insights. And if you honor Mary's role in history, type Amen in the comments. The last direct mention of Mary in the Bible is in Acts 1:14, where she is found among the disciples, praying in the upper room after Jesus' ascension. These all continued with one accord in prayer and supplication, with the women, and Mary the mother of Jesus, and with his brothers. This tells us that Mary was deeply involved in the early Christian community, praying and supporting the disciples in the crucial days after Christ's resurrection. But after this, the Bible falls silent about Mary's later life. However, historical records, church tradition, and ancient texts give us intriguing clues. One of the most accepted traditions states that Mary remained in Jerusalem for some time after Jesus' death. It makes sense. Jerusalem was where the early church was forming. There are references to a house on Mount Zion where the apostles gathered, and some believe Mary lived there. One of the earliest sources that suggest Mary remained in Jerusalem is a 5th century document called the Transitus Mariae, the Passing of Mary, which claims she stayed there until her death. In Jerusalem today, there is even a site known as the Tomb of Mary, near the Garden of Gethsemane. While there is no biblical confirmation of this, it indicates a strong tradition that she spent her final years there. On the other hand, there is another strong tradition that says Mary moved to Ephesus with the Apostle John. This idea comes from John 19:26-27, where Jesus, from the cross, tells John to take care of Mary. "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that hour, that disciple took her to his own home. Many believe John later traveled to Ephesus, a major city in the Roman Empire, and brought Mary with him. There is even an ancient stone house in Ephesus, called the House of the Virgin Mary, which many Christians believe was her home in her final years. The famous visionary Anne Catherine Emmerich, 1774 to 1824, described in great detail a house in Ephesus where Mary lived. While this is private revelation, it adds another layer of mystery. So, was Mary's final home in Jerusalem or Ephesus? We may never know for sure, but both places hold strong traditions about her. Now comes one of the biggest mysteries. How did Mary die? The Bible doesn't record it, which has led to centuries of speculation. One belief is that Mary experienced a natural death, just like any other human. This aligns with the idea that though she was sinless, she was still fully human and subject to mortality. Some traditions say she was buried either in Jerusalem or Ephesus. But then there's another belief, the Assumption of Mary. This teaching states that Mary was taken up, body and soul, into heaven, much like Elijah, 2 Kings chapter 2:11, and Enoch, Genesis chapter 5:24. One of the strongest biblical references used to support this is Revelation 12:1, which describes a vision of a woman in heaven. A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. Many theologians believe this could be referring to Mary, suggesting that she was given a special place in heaven. The earliest historical record of the Assumption comes from St. John Damascene, 8th century, who wrote that Mary was taken into heaven, based on ancient oral tradition. Even though this teaching is not explicitly in the Bible, early Christians believed that God granted Mary a unique destiny. The early church fathers, including St. Irenaeus, St. Ambrose, and St. Augustine, highly honored Mary but did not specifically write about her final days. However, by the 4th and 5th centuries, belief in the Assumption was widespread in both the Eastern and Western churches. In 1950, Pope Pius XII officially declared the Assumption of Mary as a dogma of the Catholic Church, affirming that she was taken body and soul into heaven. This remains one of the most debated topics in Christianity today. So, what can we conclude? Mary was present with the early Christians after Jesus' resurrection. She either remained in Jerusalem or moved to Ephesus with John. She either died naturally or was assumed into heaven. The Bible does not give a direct answer, but traditions and historical writings offer different insights. What do you think? Did Mary spend her final days in Jerusalem or Ephesus? Was she buried, or was she taken to heaven like Elijah? Let's discuss in the comments. And if you honor Mary's role in history, type Amen below and subscribe for more biblical insights.